being an athlete, it's a challenge mentally. I think you have to be, you're expected to be, super strong and, nothing's wrong.
It just feels like Sam Meza is stacking consistent performances on top of each other. She's turned into a metronome. Was there any way you knew she was going to be this good this season?
I think I knew she had it in her, but I'm not sure I knew she would be able to accelerate it as quickly as she had. The thing that every young player has to look at is Sam Meza's journey.
I was actually a very shy kid growing up. I was very to myself. Obviously, I was playing rec for some time, and I remember kind of running up and down the field, kind of just crying, honestly. Once I, figured out how to score, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. Like, I could cherry pick. I could be up here and just score all the time. Although it was maybe a moment where I was a little timid and scared, deep down, I think I've always kind of loved playing. I had no idea that I could play soccer beyond what I was doing. For me, it was just, something to do for fun, and didn't understand maybe how big it could get.
With the third pick in the second round of the 2024 NWSL Draft, Seattle Reigns select Sam Meza from UNC.
I actually had never been to Seattle, never visited. Definitely excited to kind of get a new beginning, be in a new place. Coming here, it just was completely different. And there's just so many trees here. To be drafted into, they bumped up to get me, which to me, is a statement. Going on loan was not what I had pictured for my rookie year. It was the unknown, and it was really scary for me. I think ultimately for me, it was about, getting minutes, getting the opportunity to just kind of get back to myself and get back into my groove. In the short time that I was here, I loved Seattle, right? I loved my teammates. And yeah, I had, my life here. But I think, Dallas Trinity did an amazing job. And that's, something that I'm gonna be forever grateful for, because I think it gave me, time to kind of find myself again. Being an athlete, it's a challenge mentally. You're expected to be, super strong and, nothing's wrong, like you're fine, just push through it. And I think for me, that was just a time to kind of, strengthen my mental a little bit, because I think it is super important. It's almost as more important than the physical things, the tactical things, those are all things that you can do. But if you're, mentally not in a great space, it's important to kind of focus on that.
Meza shoots and scores! Meza evens this.
I mean, she's a great example of why loans can be really good. Sticking with it, sticking to the journey, because last year was really challenging for her. Going on loan, she wanted to do it in the end, but I'm sure she would have preferred to be with us the whole time. But what an example it is of why we do those things.
Seattle is such a special place, again, for so many reasons, but for me especially, my teammates. Then, be able to come into this environment and just be who I am, and be who I am as a person and be who I am as a player. I think, for me growing up, I didn't really watch any women's soccer. It wasn't really, I don't want to say it wasn't a thing, but it's just not what was kind of being played when I was home. I didn't have, somebody, that representation that looked like me. And, I think if maybe I had, I would have had aspirations at a younger age to, be part of the national team, or, even go to college. I think, those are all really big things. And when you see somebody that looks like you doing those things, you're like, okay, it's possible, I can do it. For me, it's such an honor to hopefully be that person for all those little girls. To my younger self, I, would just say, to be brave and to not be afraid to be yourself. That's everyone's greatest power, is just being yourself. Nobody can do you better.